Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to another installment in our No Buff Rift Clear series. Today we are tackling a high-paced rift, and I really do mean that because things get going pretty quickly. This is the level 34 Rush, defeat 30 enemies or more on the Kree ship Rift. It's a little bit of a mouthful, but it is definitely a lot more technical than some of the other ones that we've looked at, especially if you want to get these clear conditions out of the way. So this rift has a couple of components to it. So you have friend and foe alike deal increased damage over time. That increases once every minute that you are in the fight. So you will have 2 different attack increases. And there are 3 minutes in order to clear this rift, which adds to the difficulty of the rift itself. Now, in order to get the full rewards out of this, there's 2 things that you'll need to focus on. One is dealing 1 million or more damage with your extreme attacks, and that is collectively on your extreme attacks, not on one activation of an AX attack by using all of your extreme attacks at once. It's just getting to that damage threshold over the course of the fight, which you should be able to get 2, possibly 3 activations of your extreme attacks out of the way over the course of the fight, depending on how quickly you can build up those gauges. So bring characters that can hit hard and build up their extreme gauge quicker if you want to be a little bit more successful at this, as well as characters that deal a lot of damage on those extreme attacks. And if you want to have an idea of what those characters are, you can have a look at the video that we made just this past Wednesday. I'll go ahead and link it in the cards here. The other clear condition that you've got to keep an eye open for is the minimum requirement for clearing this rift is defeating 30 enemies, which is fairly simple to do, especially because all of the opponents are sentinels and they all drop cores upon being defeated. So that makes things a lot quicker and a lot easier than they otherwise would be, because especially as the damage increases as you go on, during that last minute you can take out a full health newly spawned sentinel just by throwing a core at them. But if you want to get that final star, you're going to have to take out 45 of these opponents. And again, the majority of those KOs are going to come in that final minute once you're dealing the maximum amount of damage that you can over the course of this rift. Now, you'll want to try and focus on getting those groups of sentinels that are held together when throwing those cores, because you can affect multiple sentinels all together with one single core detonation. But the problem is they can't really be corralled into themselves. Even if you were to have Thanos Infinite for this challenge, you would not be able to siphon them all to one central location because they are not affected by his Soul Siphon ability, which is not great in terms of being able to finish this out. So what you really want to focus on, again, is any groups of sentinels that you have brought together. You want to try and throw cores at them. You'll also want to try and hold an extreme attack or build up an extreme attack so you can use it at about that 30-second mark, because that's going to give you plenty of time for the animation to play out, and it's also going to give you the maximum benefit of having your damage amplified to the point where you'll be able to deal the maximum amount of damage to your opponents and take out larger numbers of them. That will then give you access to more cores that you can throw around at your opponents over the course of whatever remains in that fight once you regain control of the characters after their extreme attacks are finalized. And from there, you really just got to focus on throwing the cores apart from the strategic use of your extreme attacks. And this can be very trying. It's a little bit easier if you have your characters at max level. Again, easier if you have their abilities ranked up. But since my characters are all at around level 50 for the sake of this challenge, and none of them have any buffs applied to their abilities, it proved to be a little bit of a challenge, and it took me about a half hour to get the clear that you have just witnessed. But as you can see, we did indeed get the full 3-star clear on it. But that's everything that we really needed to cover for this. I hope that this helped you in your own endeavors. Again, I put these unnecessary restrictions on my own gameplay so you can have an easier time with yours. So if you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, make sure that you leave a like on it. And don't forget to subscribe for the daily variety content, because I'd really appreciate that if you do. Thanks so much for your time, and I hope that you have an absolutely fantastic rest of your day.